and then we walk in from there. I know a lot of you here, we've done business with you in the past. My name is James Cliff, I'm the CEO, Group CEO of SMTS. You'll know of SMTS Zambia. You've probably heard recently, I also do a very, very quick promotion of ourselves, but we are the largest provider of IOSH training courses in the whole of the African continent. And I'm sure you probably heard last week that we won and brought back to Zambia the training provider of the year for AfriSafe, which is the whole African continent. There's 2,500 applicants, and we brought it back to Zambia. So, what does SMTS stand for? It's Safe Management Training Services, just to answer that question. So, I'm here as an honorary member today, not as part of the company. My background, I've had 37 years in oil and gas, and 27 years in oil and gas safety. And one of my big things that I do is get involved with petroleum spirit, explosive atmospheres, and I come here today with a warning. The warning is, I've put this as Dante's Inferno. If anybody knows the poem Dante's Inferno, is the 9 pits of hell. We are heading in the wrong direction as far as petroleum spirit is concerned. To go. No. Go back. Go back. There is across the African continent in general, there is a terrible lack of awareness to the dangers of petroleum spirit. I'm going to show you an article that was in The Standard in Nairobi from 2019. So these are not my words, these are the words of an article. You just put up. And it talks about stunt fuel fires don't scare Africa. Fuel tanker tragedies in Africa take a heavy toll on life, but we are not in any hurry to learn from them. A load of fuel tanker overturns or runs into something, oil spills, people armed with buckets, spears, jerry cans, whatever they get their hands on, and run towards the stored fuel. Whether that's the petrol station, whether that's an oil depot, whether it's a tanker that's gone off the road, one spark, and we've got a major loss of life. I beg you to take heed of this, because I am absolutely amazed this has not happened to us already. All the signs are there. We've seen this. We've seen tankers go off the road. All of you guys on this ZOHSA forum. We had one a few weeks ago where people came to the tank to steal the fuel. One spark and everyone would have been fried. Now, I've got some pictures here of incidents that have happened in the past. Just roll it on. Roll it on, roll it on. Again. This is one that happened in Kenya in 2019. And if you look at the arbitrary list, this is what happens. Not one person dead, not 2 people dead, not 5 people dead, 100, 200, 300. Women and children, families that go to get the fuel, and it just happens just like that. Okay. Again. This was Uganda, 2018. Tank went off the road. Just a second. Uganda, 2018. Went off the road, killed 60 people. Harare, 2017. 130 there. 130. The worst one recently has been in Tanzania. You probably know this one. This was just 2 years ago. 270 people killed. You can see Everybody came with the bikes and so on to steal fuel. Lagos, 2018, 45 there. Okay. I was actually in this. This is over a big bridge in Lagos. A tanker went out of control, lost its brakes, you see it's not being maintained properly, went off the road, tipped over, the fuel ran nearly a kilometre down the bridge, and it ignited. People sat in their cars, they would not leave their vehicles because people are not aware of the dangers that are associated with petroleum spirits. Okay. The worst one I've ever had to deal with, and I was part of the investigation team that dealt with this, was in Accra in 2017. The picture you see at the top left-hand corner there is a petrol station. So it's not a tanker, it's a petrol station. Now we're building petrol stations like crazy in Zambia. Some of them in residential areas. Am I right? Independent people, we've got some company-operated sites, we've got some independently operated sites, they're built by different contractors. Can you imagine this, if this was in a residential area? 350 people died. I'm not going to go into detail of it today, but 350 people fried on this forecourt. That could happen to us tomorrow. South Africa, another one in Nigeria, Zambia. Thank you. Just click on the video. I'm sure you will have seen this. I'm playing this. This is in the public domain. But this was the recent incident we had in Lusaka. It goes on for a while. Just go back. But I ask you as safety professionals and learning safety professionals, I ask you to think about this because we overlook this all the time. What would you do? What would you do in this situation? The police, the army were there, they were completely unequipped to deal with this. That's not a criticism of them. It's just, this is what the situation is. But what would you do? If you had this in your business, what would you do? Are you prepared? And the answer is usually, no, we're not. And that's the truth of the matter. That's the truth of the matter in Zambia, it's the truth of the matter in Canada, it's the truth of the matter everywhere. But we're here today to talk about professionalism and safety and how we can improve things. And that's why I'm just highlighting this situation. We need to start to think about this agenda. Fuel supply in Zambia is getting heavier, more and more sites, more and more petrol stations, more and more tankers. We're a through road, if you like, for tankers going to different regions, am I right? We've got to think about how we control that. A lot of the tankers that come from different countries are not fit to be on the road. They go off the road in a town or a village. We could be looking at a serious loss of life. We had one just like this about 3 weeks ago. I don't know if you remember it on the ZOHSA forum, somebody posted it and everybody's like, oh my God, it could have ignited. This is what normally happens if you just play the video. 37 people killed here. 37 people. By the grace of God, the tanker went off the road, that we had exactly that same situation 3 weeks ago. By the grace of God, it didn't happen. By the grace of God. We need to start looking at this because this is becoming a very, very, very common occurrence. And I think all the members in here know that. All I'm doing today is bringing it to the forefront for us to start thinking about. I haven't got time, I don't think, today to go through this, but we must understand that petroleum spirit is a highly flammable liquid that gives off a massive amount of vapour. Okay? Even a cup full, a glass full of petroleum spirit is enough to create an explosion in the right conditions. And yet we bypass it all the time. The other thing that I want to talk about just at this point is, since the Ukrainian war, since the conflict, there has been a massive increase in fuel theft. People stealing the fuel. How do they steal it? Not in a safe way. Where are they storing it? Not in a safe place. My understanding from my contacts in the industry, that between distribution and it's getting into somebody's car or a generator, 40% of the fuel right now is going missing. 40%. Now, if you consider that mining, the biggest single cost in mining, 68% of all costs in mining are fuel, that hits us as well. Okay. So I just put it there for the complete lack of understanding that people have. Complete ignorance. There's a father with his son, letting his son fill up a petrol tank with a cigarette. Go past. This is the other one I just wanted to mention on here. Not many people know this. 10 litres of petrol will create nearly 300,000 litres of explosive gas. And yet we store it in bottles and cans and all sorts of things. Put it in the garage, put it in the back of your vehicle, put it in the shed, and it leaks. So that can of fuel is enough to make that whole vessel a bomb. It's the vapor. It's the vapor that is explosive. Okay. Keep it. Keep it. We put it in little cans. Statistically, we have many people's houses burned down. Factories, warehouses, manufacturing, because of the incorrect storage of petroleum spirit. What are we doing about it? So I could go to any premises now and find it stuck there somewhere on site. Okay. So my question to us today as members is, we've got to get started on this, and we've got to start pushing the agenda to change attitudes. It's a long journey that's going to take years. But I don't think we're doing enough, if I'm brutally honest. We need, as an organisation, as ZOHSA, to start pushing this agenda. Not that I'm saying that construction to people is not important, but if this goes wrong, we could be looking at 300-400 lives. My point is, it is happening. It's not hearsay. It's happening. Okay. We need more than just goodwill. When I see these things happening, everybody goes, oh, shame. Condolences to the families. What a terrible accident. We need to take action. So I put it to ZOHSA, I put it to us as a group, but we need to start this process. I'll finish with this.
Bronze cars and their bodies underneath. We cannot retrieve them, one for access and second decency. So we waited until this morning so as to get the final body counts of all those affected.
We're a little bit short of time, so that plays on for a while, but you get the idea. The final death toll on that one was 210 people. Some of the bodies that could not even identify through dental records because they had burned just to dust. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. I hope that's been useful. I'm going to be around this afternoon if anyone wants to talk a bit more detail about it and just a bit more information about what actually happens. So I'm going to be around to take questions, but I think we need to move on to that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Manaki. One of our honorary members. In the interest of time, allow me to invite Madam Mel Muchini, who will be presenting on the patient safety. The presentation was supposed to be done by the former Workers' Compensation Commissioner, Dr. Elizabeth Nkumbula. So she advised that the Secretary General for Patient Safety do the presentation. Madam Muchini.
Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Good morning, sorry, good afternoon. I'm Melody Monchini from Patient Safety Movement Foundation, and I'll do a presentation on behalf of Dr. Elizabeth, the ambassador of Patient Safety Movement Foundation in Zambia. I'll start with the background. Okay, I'll start with the background. Patient Safety Movement Foundation is a commitment-based NGO which was started in the United States of America in 2012. This is a group of volunteers working to connect the dots. By connecting the dots between all stakeholders working to advance patient safety, by challenging the current state of affairs and breaking down silos. The Patient First Movement Foundation involves the patient and the family at all levels, so that we don't lose sight of the fact that it's all about a patient. The purpose of Patient First Movement Foundation is to educate everyone who is part of the healthcare system to create a public demand for safe and reliable care. And so in order to make our healthcare institutions become highly reliable. The vision for patient safety is zero preventable patient harm and death by 2030. The mission is to unify people and collectively improve patient safety across the globe. This focuses on eliminating preventable human harm, which happens in our healthcare institutions globally, by creating a sense of agency and unifying humanity following these principles to do what is best for all those who receive, give, and support care. Secondly, to embrace continuous improvement and to learn from mistakes rather than blaming others. Also to encourage sharing of ideas. In 2020, Patient First Movement Foundation started working on expanding its group of volunteers by uniting a group of ambassadors globally. Dr. Elizabeth Nkumbula was appointed as the ambassador for Zambia with a special assignment to bring together all stakeholders in the healthcare system and being the connector, facilitator, and key champion of patient safety challenges. This being a noble responsibility, she extended her invitation to all Zambians, individuals and institutions willing to be part of the movement and to help achieve zero preventable patient deaths in Zambia by 2030. What is the problem? Why is this Patient Safety Movement Foundation coming in? Statistics have shown that global medical errors are a third leading cause of medical errors kill more people, more than malaria and TB combined, as well as HIV. Although we do not have statistics as a nation in Zambia, but the problem is real and it happens in healthcare institutions. I can give an example. On 17 September this year, we commemorated the first World Patient Safety Day in Angola. We had the provisional directorates where they gave examples of medical errors which occur right here in Zambia. They cited quite a number of examples. And another example, in America, medical errors in healthcare facilities are a third leading cause of death behind heart diseases and cancers. It is for this reason that we are requesting all stakeholders in healthcare facilities to be part of this noble responsibility and help raise awareness. The Patient First Movement Foundation believes that reaching zero preventable deaths in hospitals is not only the right goal, but an attainable one with right people, ideas, and technology. In order to address this challenge, the stakeholders must take the following actions: build public awareness on patient safety at all levels, and also do expanded clinical support. This expanded clinical support involves action for patient safety solution, which provides evidence-based summary of best practices. Patient Safety Movement Foundation expanded it into 3 sections, which is the first one is the blueprints. The blueprints contain clinical workflow and performance improvement plans. The second one is education, which includes webinars, videos, and blogs, and other articles. The third one is video coaching, which is designed to assist healthcare organizations to create a foundation for safe and reliable care through establishing person-centered culture of safety, a holistic and continuous improvement framework. This coaching is tailored on the needs of healthcare institutions, and it's offered for free for those organizations who commit to strive to zero prevention for patient harm and death. The Patient Safety Movement Foundation has impacted positively to the lives of patients. These are the statistics from committed hospitals globally. In 2019, 93,279 lives were saved by committed hospitals. And as of 2020, 4,783 hospitals in 48 countries committed to zero preventable death by 2020. 92 healthcare technology companies have signed an open data pledge. 156 action for patient safety solution groups participants, and more than 19,000 individuals joined Patient Safety Movement Foundation. Join us today so that patients can live tomorrow. What is going forward here in Zambia? We need a group of committed individuals who can challenge the current state of affairs and push for what is best for patient safety. As the Patient Safety Movement Foundation, we believe that all healthcare institutions must be highly reliable and offer confidence to the general public. You agree with me that maybe us or our relatives have been harmed medically. Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't know. Due to negligence, given maybe a person is given wrong medication and died, or a wrong dose of medicine, and maybe somebody comes in, they need to label which part of the body has a problem. They take to theater, maybe they amputate the left leg, the one which has a problem with the other one, then they end up going back there. Such things happen. So we are requesting for hospitals to commit to zero, and all healthcare training schools and other institutions which support the healthcare system to commit to zero, so that we challenge the current status of affairs. What are the benefits of commitment? Free coaching for improvement skills, free registration, free interactive visual workshops, free publicity tools, including opportunity to highlight our success through our visual learning network. In conclusion, we are requesting to join the movement and contribute to the problem solving at a large scale. Preventable medical errors in hospitals are avoidable. What matters is simply connecting the dots. You can be part of the solution no matter what your role is in the system. If you are not a patient today, you are a potential patient in future. Please join the movement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that presentation. Looking at time, we're going to have the presentation of the update of the ZOHSA Act as the voice are being counted. So at this particular time, I'm going to call upon the president.